In those days, in the region east of Ayodhya, the royal city, the sage Vishwamitra was engaged in rigorous asceticism. He resolved upon a holy rite, that is, yajna. But however, often he inaugurated it, the demons desecrated it and fouled its sanctity. They showered pieces of flesh on the sacred area and made it unfit for Vedic ceremonies. In many other ways, they cast obstacles and halted the holy mission. Vishwamitra was at his wits' end. He went to Ayodhya to meet the ruler himself. When reports arrived of his coming, the king sent his ministers to bring him with due honors into the palace. They welcomed him at the city gate and accompanied him right up to the palace door. At the palace, Brahmins recited Vedic hymns, while Dasharatha washed his feet as laid down in the sacred texts and as it is customary in reception of sages, sprinkled upon his own head drops of the water so sanctioned. Vishwamitra was led into the inner apartments and seated on high chair, with the members of the royal court standing reverentially around him. "This is indeed a great day," exclaimed Dasharatha. He expressed his joy at the unexpected arrival of the holy personage and the opportunity he gained to serve and honor him. Vishwamitra directed the king and the ministers to sit, and they obeyed. The sage graciously asked about the health and welfare of the king and royal family and about the peace and prosperity of the kingdom. He asked the king whether his reign was marked by the strength and security and whether his government was ensuring the continued progress of his subjects. Dasharatha replied that as a result of the grace of God and the blessings of the saints and sages, his subjects were dutifully and gladly engaged in their tasks without fear of failure, and that the administration had before it the steady promotion of the people's welfare. He said that his government was serving the people in many ways to promote and preserve their happiness and security. Dasharatha yearned to know why the sage had come. He assured him that he was ever ready to fulfill his least desire. He declared with great devotion that he would discharge earnestly any duty that the sage may cast on him. He was only waiting to know what he could do for him. Vishwamitra nodded his head in approval and turned toward Dasharatha. "I don't declare now before you that you are a very righteous ruler, that you revere guests and supplicants, and that you are the embodiment of faith and devotion. The happiness of the empire under your rule is enough evidence of this. The welfare of the subjects depends on the character of the rulers. People will have peace or suffer anxiety depending on whether the rulers are good or bad. Wherever I have inquired, I was told that only in Ayodhya that we have a people full of love and royalty to the sovereign, and a sovereign full of affection and regard to his people. In every nook and corner of your kingdom, I hear this heartening news. Therefore, I know that your words come straight from the heart, I have not the least doubt you will not deviate from your promise. You will adhere to the word once given. These sages' words moved Dasharatha deeply. Great people will engage themselves only in activities that help the world. And whatever they do, they will not stray from the injunctions of the scriptures. There must be a good reason for whatever they contemplate. Since they are prompted by the divine will in every act, so I am ever willing, with all the resources at my command, to serve you and fulfill your slightest wish. Dasharatha vowed again and again to carry out the sage's command. This made the sage very glad. Yes, as you said, we do not emerge from our hermitages without reason. I have come to you on a high purpose. Listening to your enthusiastic response, I am doubly happy. I am filled with the joy that my errand has borne fruit. You will stand by your promise, won't you? Asked Vishwamitra. Dasharatha replied immediately, Master, perhaps you should ask others such a question. But Dasharatha is not a person to break the pledged word. He will give up his life rather than bring dishonor on himself going back on his promise. What greater treasure can a monarch have than morality and integrity? They alone stand by him as resources of strength while discharging his manifold responsibilities. If these two are lost, the kingdom would become a mansion without light, a wilderness beset with apish vagaries and fractional fights. It would be torn by anarchy and terror. In the end, the king would meet with disaster. I am certain that such a calamity could never overwhelm my dynasty for ages to come. Therefore, without entertaining any shadow of doubt, tell me the mission that brought you to Ayodhya and accept the service that this devoted servant is ready to offer. Vishwamitra said, No, I had no doubt in my mind. I simply uttered those words in order to hear this assertion of your steady adherence to the truth. I know that the Ishwaku rulers are intensely wedded to the duty of fulfilling the spoken word. Well, I require from you only one thing now. It's neither wealth nor vehicles, neither cows nor gold, neither regiments nor attendants. I need only two of your sons, Rama and Lakshmana, to accompany me. What do you say to this? The sage asks. At this, Dasharatha lost his balance. He fell back and could not recover soon. Regaining his composure, after some time, he gasped for courage to utter a few words. Master, what use will those boys be to you? The mission on which you intend to take them can be better fulfilled by me, don't you think? Give me the chance. Let me make my life worthwhile. Tell me what it is. I will derive joy from it. The sage replied, My firm belief is that no one but these boys can fulfill this task. Only they can accomplish it. Neither your millions nor even you can carry it out. Boys such as these have not been born before, nor will such be born again. This is my conviction. Listen, I resolved to perform a celebrated sacrificial rite, but as soon as I enter upon its preliminaries, evil spirits and demons assemble from nowhere and cause sacrilegious obstruction. They cause interruptions and pile hindrances. I want these boys to ward off these demons and save the sacrificial rite from these abominations so that I can bring it to a successful conclusion. This is my purpose, my desire. What do you say now? Asked Vishwamitra in a serious voice. The king replied, Master, how can these tender little boys perform such a tremendous task? I am here, most willing and ready. I will come with my chariotry, infantry, cavalry and elephantry and guard the area of the sacrifice and your hermitage. I'll see that the ritual is conducted with full success without the least interruptions. I have some experience in fighting against these demoniac forces, since, as you know, I fought for the gods against them and brought them victory. I can do it quite easily. I shall make arrangements to accompany you. Even now, permit me to do so, he appealed. The sage said, O king, I am not satisfied in spite of all you say. I assert once again, you cannot accomplish this assignment. Don't you realize that he is beyond even me, who is acclaimed as well, nay, omnipotent, omniscient? How then could you succeed? You consider these boys as just ordinary children. This is a mistake resulting from the affection you have as the father. I know full well that they are the divine might itself in human form. Do not hesitate. Keep your word so solemnly given and send them this very moment with me. Or else accept that you are not true to your words and I will depart. Do either of these. Quick. This is no occasion for wavering and delay. The king was frightened by the sharpness of the sage's voice. He was overwhelmed by fear. In despair, Dasharatha wanted to invite his preceptor to court. Vasishtha came in and on seeing Vishwamitra, he exchanged smiles and words of mutual respect with him. Vasishtha heard from the king an account of all that had happened. Of course, Vasishtha knew quite well the divine reality of the boys. So he advised the king not to have the least worry and to entrust the boys gladly to the loving custody of the sage. Dasharatha pleaded that the boys had not kept good health for some months and they did not have even the physical stamina to engage in battle with the demons. We have been concerned for a long time about their health and now this demand comes like a jab on a painful sore. My mind does not agree in the least to send them forth to encounter the demons. I will guard my children even at the risk of my own life, lamented the king. Vishwamitra intervened. King, why do you foolishly lament in this manner? You should have desisted from making promises that you could not fulfill. It is an act of dark sin when ruler makes a promise without considering the pros and cons and then, when asked to execute it, to delay, retract, and even to go counter to the promise. This is the most unworthy of kings like you. I spurn the help you offer sorrowfully. Help rendered, however small, if it comes from the deeper urges of the service welling in the heart is as good as the offer of life itself. Half-hearted and hesitating help, however great, is deplorable. I have no desire to cause pain and extract help from you. Well, be happy with yourself and your sin. I am leaving now. Vishwamitra rose and attempted to move off. The king fell at his feet and prayed for more light and more time. He asked to be taught his duty. He pleaded with the sage to convince him for the fairness of his demand so that he could fulfill his plan. Vasishtha counseled him, King, you are coming in the way of an imminent cosmic revelation, a mighty fulfillment. Since your heart is affected by parental affection, the truth is veiled before you. Your sons will come to no harm. No, never. No height of heroism is beyond them. Formidable divine forces have taken these human forms for the purpose of destroying demons and demonic powers. So, without further delay, send for the boys. Don't calculate their physical strength or the measure of their intelligence. Calculate rather the divine that is a babbling up from them even minute of their lives. No strength can stand up to that. Remember. After some more advice on these lines, Vasishtha sent for Rama and Lakshmana. As soon as they heard that the sages Vishwamitra and Vasishtha wanted them, they rushed along and entering the hall bowed in reverence. First they fell at the father's feet, then at Vasishtha's, and next to Vishwamitra's feet. With a smile playing on his lips, Vishwamitra addressed the boys when they rose and stood reverentially on one side. Boys, will you come with me? The boys were elated at the prospect. On hearing this, Dasharatha was further disheartened. His face turned pale. Rama saw his father sorrowing over his approval, approached him softly and said, Father, why are you sad when I am going with the great sage? Is there any better way of utilizing this body than putting it at the service of others? This body has been given to us for that very purpose, to share in the holy tasks of ascetics and to be able to grant them some relief from harassment. Is this not high use? There is nothing impossible for us, is there? We will destroy the demons, however fierce they may be, and bring peace to the sages. If permitted, we are ready to start off this very minute. These words, charged with courage, served to reduce Dasharatha's anxiety to some extent, but the king was still struggling. He could not decide what to say. He drew Rama to himself. Son, the demons are no ordinary foes. Reports say that among them are Sunda, Upasunda, Maricha, Subahu. They are atrociously cruel. Their physical appearance is indescribably horrid. You have never seen such terrifying forms. I cannot contemplate the moment when you come face to face with them. How can you battle with those tricksters who are adepts at camouflage and physical transformations? So far, you have not even heard the word battle or seen actual combat on the field, and you are now suddenly called to fight such formidable foes. Alas, destiny is indeed very cruel. Alas, have my sons to face on the very threshold of their lives this monstrous ordeal. With these thoughts revolving in his mind, Dasharatha shed profuse tears out of the anguish of his heart. Lakshmana noticed his father's mental weakness. He said, "Father, why these tears? We are not timid girls. The battlefield is our legitimate arena. War is our rightful duty. The safeguarding of righteousness is our genuine responsibility. The service of sages and the maintenance of moral codes are our very breath. I am surprised you are sad that we go on such a glorious errand. The world will laugh at you for this display of weakness. Send us with your love and blessings. I will accompany my brother and return with the glory of victory." Rama saw his father overpowered by affection for him. He moved toward the throne and held his hand lovingly. "Father, it appears you have forgotten who you are. Remember who you are, in which royal family, immortalized by which forefathers you were born, and how much fame they had attained. Then you won't weep as you are doing now. You took birth in Ishwaku dynasty. Till this day, you spent your years as the very embodiment of dharma. The three words have acclaimed you as the dutiful observer of vows, as the guardian and practitioner of dharma, and as most redoubtable hero on the battlefield, as well as elsewhere. You are aware that there is no greater sin than retracting the word once given. Going back on the word you have given to the sage will tarnish your fair fame. Your sons cannot tolerate this ill fame. When you cannot act according to your word, you can have no share in the merit of the sacrifices performed by you, or even of the beneficial acts done by you, like digging wells and planting trees. Why dilate? We, your sons, feel that it's a mark of disgrace for which we have to bend our heads, even to listen to the talk that Dasharatha broke his plighted word. This is an indelible blot on the reputation of the dynasty itself. Your affection for your sons is blind. It is not based on discrimination. It will bring on us punishment, not protection. If you are really moved by affection towards us, shouldn't you pay attention to the promotion of our fame? Of course, we are in no position to advise you. You know all this. Your affection has drawn you into this miasma of ignorance and has made it difficult for you to recognize your duty. As for us, we have not the slightest shred of fear. The bride of victory will certainly espouse us. Don't hesitate, but bless us and entrust us to the sage." Rama pleaded thus, and bending his head low and touched the father's feet. Dasharatha drew Rama near and fondled his head. "Son, all you have said is true. Your words are gems of great worth. I am not a fool to deny them. I will proceed this moment with my four-winged army and protect the sacrificial ceremony of this sage at the cost of all that I possess. But my mind does not accept the proposal to send you, just now being trained in the arts of war and weaponry, into the arms of those demons. No father will knowingly offer his sons into the tiger's paw. And is it right for you to plunge us into the flames of grief? We gained you through austerity and fostered you as the very breath of our lives. Loss. What can one do when destiny itself is against us? I won't blame you or anyone else. It is the consequence of the sins I myself committed. Dasharatha bewailed thus. With his hand upon his head, Rama broke into a smile. Father, what is the weakness? You speak of thrusting us into the tiger's mouth. Haven't you realized yet that we are not goats to be so offered? Believe us to be lion cubs. Send us on this sacred task with your blessings. Kings must not delay sacred tasks. Hearing Rama's rather sharp remarks, Vasishtha rose and saying, Excellent, Dasharatha. Did you hear the lion's roar? Why the jackal howl hereafter? Arise, send a message to the mothers and fetch them. Place your sons at the service of Vishwamitra. Dasharatha felt he could nothing else but obey. He sent word for the queens come. The queens came with veils over their heads. They touched the feet of the sages and of Dasharatha and then moved toward the children and stood by their side, fondling with loving fingers the crown of their heads. Vasishtha spoke first. Mothers, our Rama and Lakshmana are ready to leave with Vishwamitra in order to guard his right from interference and obstruction by demonic hordes. Bless them before they leave. Kaushalya raised her head in surprise, saying, What? Are these sapling to guard and protect the right that the great sage is celebrating? I have heard that the mantras themselves with their divine potency will be the best armor. How can a mere mortal dare take upon themselves the burden of saving the right from harm? The responsibility for the successful conclusion of the rite lies on the rectitude of the participating priesthood. This appeared to Vasishtha as correct, but he thought it best to shed a little more light on the situation. Kausalya, mother, Vishwamitra's rite is no ordinary one. Many obstacles are affecting it and creating anxiety. Vasishtha was continuing with his explanation when Kaushalya intervened. I am really amazed to hear that anxiety overshadows the rituals performed by sages. I believe that no power can stand against any sacred resolve. The sage is nursing this desire and craving its fulfillment in order to manifest the supreme light and peace. That is my surmise. He might have put forward this request in order to test the king's attachment to his children. Or else, how can we believe that these tiny sprouts of tenderness will guard from harm the right that this sage endowed with all mystic and mysterious powers is proposing to celebrate? While Kaushalya was saying this, her hand caressing Rama's head, Dasharatha, who was listening to her talk, suddenly realized the truth in a flash and arrived at a bold decision. He said, Yes, Kausalya's words convey authentic truth. This is but a plan to test me. I am certain about it. Master, how can I, a weakling, encounter your test? I will abide by your wish, whatever it is. With these words, Dasharatha fell at Vasishtha's feet. Vasishtha looked at him and said, Maharaj, you have proved yourself worthy. These boys are not of common stamp. Their skills and capacities are limitless. We know this, others do not know. The occasion is but the inauguration of their triumphal march. It is the prologue to the history of their victorious career. It is the taking on by them of the vow of the guardianship of righteousness, Dharma Rakshana. They will return soon with the bride of victory. Therefore, without further thought, hand them over gladly to Vishwamitra. Vasishtha called the boys to his side and, placing his auspicious palm on their heads, recited some hymns that pronounced blessings on them. The boys fell at their mother's feet and received their blessings. Then they stood ready to depart. Dasharatha noticed the glow of joy and courage on their faces and suppressed the grief that was surging within him. He placed his hands on the boy's shoulders. Then he went to Vishwamitra, fell at his feet, and said, "These two, O Master, are from this day your sons. Their health and happiness are dependent on you. If you order a few personal gods accompany them, I will gladly comply." Vishwamitra burst into laughter. "O king, you are really insane. Can anyone guard them? These heroes are coming to free the right from obstruction. Do they need any? They are out to guard the right, which we cannot guard. Do such mighty heroes need someone to protect them? Of course, your affection has blinded you. King, I will bring them with me when the task for which I am taking them is accomplished. Don't worry. Rule over the kingdom without injustice or interruption." Vishwamitra rose, and everyone offered reverential obeisance to the great sage. He walked out of the hall first, with the two princes following. As soon as they reached the main gate of the palace, people heard heavenly drums and clarions resounding from the sky. A shower of flowers rained upon them. As they moved along, the music of conches rose from every doorstep. The peal of trumpets was heard from every few yards of the road. They appeared to men, women, and children, to the citizens of all ages, as to cubs trotting behind an elderly lion. No one knew why the princes were walking barefoot and leaving the palace with the celebrated sage. So each one started asking his neighbor what their mission was. The ministers, courtiers, and citizens accompanied them only as far as the city gate, for that was a royal command. That they bade farewell to the princes and turned back. They continued their journey with Vishwamitra leading the way, Rama close behind and Lakshmana bringing up the rear. They saw the lines of charming trees on both sides of the track. They filled themselves with the beauty of nature, revealing itself before their eyes. When they had trekked some distance, they entered a jungle devoid of human habitation. Vishwamitra told Rama and Lakshmana to wear wrist guards and fingers guards of leather from then on. He asked them to take on hand the bows slung on their shoulder and hold them in readiness. Thus equipped, they moved along the silent, terror-striking forests, through the tangled bushes, fearless and effulgent, as if they were the monarchs of the region.